call the April 8th, 2021 meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission to order. And pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the governor's March 15th order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Town of Burlington's Conservation Commission is being conducted through remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in these orders. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while it is in progress may do so by tuning into the BCAT Government Cable Access Channel or the BCAT Government Meetings Facebook Live feed, or you can join the meeting over the phone at 408-418-9388. And also the meeting number that you would have to punch in is 179-747-7321. To join the WebEx live video conference, you can click on the link on the Conservation Commission's meeting page or go to the Town of Burlington's town calendar and go to the agenda and the link will be there. Or you can go to the webex.com, join a meeting link, and there is a meeting number, again, 179-747-7321, and then there's a password which is shown on the screen, which is also on the agenda, which you can use if you want to join that way. New public hearings open tonight will not be closed so as to allow comments from those who are unable to access or are uncomfortable with the technology. Comments and concerns regarding public hearings should be emailed to conservation@burlington.org before our next meeting, which is April 22nd, 2021. Okay. All right. Okay, so the first item of business is to call the roll call, and we will do it by you indicating whether you are present or say aye, so we can record it for the record, please. The first one is Don Bernstein. I know he is absent. He should be marked absent. Commissioner Gail Lima.
Present.
Commissioner Indra Deb.
Present.
Commissioner Bill Boyven.
Present.
Commissioner Jennifer O'Riordan is absent. Commissioner Ed Laturco.
Present.
Associate Commissioner Kent Moffitt. I guess we will mark him absent.
I'm here.
Oh, you are? Okay, thank you,
sorry,
Kent.
Ross.
No
Sorry.
problem. Larry Cohen, Commissioner Larry Cohen, as chair, is here. And Conservation Administrator John Keeley.
Present.
Associate Conservation Administrator Eileen Coleman.
Here.
All right. Okay, with that, when I call your item on the agenda, if you are here for an agenda, I will ask you to introduce yourselves and where you live, and then I will give you the floor and you can start talking. As far as the agenda, we have two requests to continue. Item number, let's see, item number 8, a continued public hearing, which is a notice of intent for 59 and 61 Terrace Hall, Middlesex Turnpike, 59 and 61 Middlesex Turnpike by Nuria Energy Corporation. It is to demolish the gas station and convenience store and restaurant building and construct a new gas station and convenience store. I believe this was the D'Angelo's on Middlesex Turnpike, 59 and 61 Middlesex Turnpike. That will be continued until April 22nd of this year. The next continuance, we have 3 items, 9, 10, and 11.
Excuse me, Larry. So you could vote. We need to vote to continue. Do you want to do it now or just when it comes up on the agenda?
We can. Why don't I finish telling the continuances and then I'll get the motion and get them out of the way. Okay. Thank you, John. Continued public hearing, notice of intent, Redmond Street roadway, Somerset Realty Trust. That is to construct a new road with a stream crossing, continued to April 22nd. Continued public hearing for 4 Redmond Street, same proponent. Construct a new single-family dwelling, continued to April 22nd. And continued public hearing, 5 Redmond Street, for the same applicant to construct a new single-family dwelling, continued until April 22nd. So can I have a motion to continue 59 and 61 Middlesex Turnpike for the April 22nd meeting?
So moved, Ed.
Second, Bill.
All right, so I'll call on the commissioners. How you vote? Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
The chair votes yes by a vote of 5-0-0. That 59 and 61 Middlesex Turnpike is continued. Can I have a motion to continue? Can I do all 3 at once, John? You think? For
Yes.
Redmond Street?
Yes,
Okay.
as long as you get the motion right.
All right, so whoever makes the motion, as John says, get it right. We got, could I have a motion for a continued public hearing for the Redmond Street roadway, notice of intent, and continue the public hearing, notice of intent for 4 Redmond Street, and to continue the public hearing for notice of intent for 5 Redmond Street, all 3 to be continued to April 22nd. Is there a motion?
So moved for all 3, Bill.
Good job, Bill.
Second for all 3, Gail.
Good job, Gail. All right. Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes, for all 3.
Bill?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay, and Ed? Ed?
All 3.
All right. And the chair votes for all 3 by a vote of 5-0-0. The Redmond Street roadway, 4 Redmond Street and 5 Redmond Street, all 3 public hearings are continued to April 22nd. Next on our agenda is citizens' time. Is there anyone here that's on the phone or on the live video feed who is here for something that's not on the agenda or some subject that's not on the agenda? All right, the record should show that no one is here for citizens' time. No one spoke up. Are we in a position to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2021?
Yes, they look good to me.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2021?
So moved, Gail.
Second, Ed.
Okay, Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes by a vote of 5-0-0. The minutes from March 25th, 2021 are approved. Next, we'll move to item 4A. Notice is hereby given that the Town of Burlington Conservation Commission will hold a WebEx virtual public meeting. Okay, the purpose of the meeting is to act upon a request for determination of applicability filed by Kimberly Kilroy. The commission will take all information related to the proposed installation of an in-ground swimming pool within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands. The property is located at 10 Brenda Lane in Burlington, and we will thereafter issue a determination. The application is being heard pursuant to the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington's bylaw Article 14. A copy of the application is available by email from conservation@burlington.org. Okay, with that, we have someone here for 2 Brenda Lane. I think I saw someone.
Yep. Hi, I'm Kimberly. So the address is actually 2 Brenda Lane.
2, what did I say?
10, I think.
Yeah, I think at the beginning you say 10, but it is 2.
Okay,
It is
let's
2.
correct the
Yeah.
record.
So I just
2
wanted to
Brenda
clarify.
Lane. All right, thank you for that correction.
There's only 6 houses. There's only 6 houses on the street, so
That's
I
right.
didn't get that
I remember. So you're our guest, so you get to talk first. If you want to say anything, as little or as much as you'd like.
Okay, so I'm the owner of the house, and we're just looking to put an in-ground pool in the backyard. So it's on the left-hand side of the house, in the back, kind of behind the patio. The wetlands are off my property on the right-hand side. So
Right.
the intent would be to have the patio for the pool start over 40 feet away from the wetlands. And we'll be doing pavers for the patio area that's surrounding the pool. So I would assume that would then make the pool itself at least 43 feet away. So if it's recommended that we do it further, that's fine. I'm happy to go along with what is appropriate.
All right. Well, thank you for that summary. Okay, John,
Oh,
would you? Yes. Go ahead.
Sorry, I forgot to say one thing. In addition to the pool situation, I was also looking to replace an existing fence that surrounds the yard. So
Okay.
the fence has been there. It's just that it's been there for 40 years. So for safety reasons, we may want to replace it.
Sure. Okay. So, John or Eileen, would you give us a rundown on the resource area or any comments that you have, please?
Sure, it's going to be me for this one. So as Kimberly explained, there is a wetland next door. It's on 58 and 60 Beaverbrook Road. We could see it. It was very visible yesterday. It doesn't appear to be on her property. There was a pool on her land maybe 20 plus years ago, which, as her mother explained, was filled in because her kids got older, but now they want to replace it approximately in the same location again. I don't have any issue with this because she's proposing to put it entirely within existing lawn. The pool has not yet been designed, but Kimberly is undertaking to make sure any design will be more than 40 feet from the wetlands. In fact, by the location, it looks like it'll be more than 50 feet if they keep it on the left-hand side.
Okay. Do you have any concerns at all?
No, I don't.
All
Oh, and
right.
as she explained, she wants to replace the fence, but only in the same location. So I don't have any issues with that either.
All right. So we'll go to the commissioners, see if they have comments or questions, and then we'll proceed from there. Gail, do you have any comments or questions?
No, just the point that if the fence is replaced, that it, should be in the exact location and not, further in. And I guess, do you have any sense of what type of fence it would be?
So most likely it would be like a black chain link fence, probably at least 6 feet high. I had it measured, and it's about 578 linear feet surrounding it. So I think that's probably the most affordable.
Yep, okay, thank you.
All right. Indra,
Nothing.
Bill.
I have no comment.
All right, Ed.
I commented, I did get to see all the properties that the commission saw yesterday. I don't have any comments further here.
All right. I actually have nothing further either. So is there anyone in the audience who might have a comment or a question or a concern? This is for the property at number 2, Brenda Lane. Okay, what we have for you is we have a draft of a decision, which is called a negative conditional determination. And it basically provides for a few rather routine conditions that are rather standard. And it means that the commission does not feel that this project will have any large effect on the wetland resource off your property. So we're going to review the document and then we'll vote it.
Okay, can everybody see this now? I'm sharing, right?
Yes.
So, the reference plans is a plan of land produced by Northeastern Engineering showing the previous pool in 1982. Sketch of the property showing the approximate location. So I'll just change the spelling, and appraisal of 2 Brenda Lane for the mortgage. Applicant proposed to install a pool in existing lawn behind the house and patio A pool at that approximate location was removed approximately 20 years ago. The proposal would also likely include a narrow surround using pavers similar to the ones in the existing patio. The pool has not yet been designed but would remain completely within existing lawn. The applicant also proposed to replace the existing fence at the same location. Work was located within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland on the neighboring property, and the proposed work would be at least 40 feet from the DVW. The decision is that the commission is voting to issue a negative determination of applicability for the project as outlined at 2 Brenda Lane. And the conditions are that this work is only for the project as outlined. Prior to beginning any construction, sediment barriers shall be installed at the limit of work, shall be staked straw wattles that are a minimum of 12 inches in diameter, or compost filter socks or staked hay bales, and those shall remain in place while the work is being done. All construction or demolition materials and excavated soil shall be disposed of off-site in a legal manner. There should be no stockpiling of soil or the materials within 50 feet of wetlands. No tracking of sediments onto public roadways shall be allowed, and roadways shall be swept daily if that occurs. There shall be no filling or significant grading of the property under this decision, and the project shall not increase the rate or volume of runoff or damage the abutting properties. No debris or sediment or lawn clippings shall be dumped in the vegetated wetlands. Pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides should not be used within wetlands or within 100 feet of wetlands unless otherwise approved by the Conservation Commission, and members of the Commission or their designated representatives shall have the right to enter upon and inspect the premises while the construction is ongoing. And any non-compliance shall be deemed a violation of the Wetlands Protection Act.
Okay, do you have any questions at all? Ms. Kilroy, is there any questions on this?
Nope. Will that document be emailed to me? Perfect.
Yeah, yes. And in fact, if you do have questions, you can always call the commission and one of our staff will gladly help you out if you have any questions about stuff. Okay.
Kimberly, we'll mail out the actual signed document for you next week. So it's not official until you receive that. It's dated Wednesday. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
All right, could I have a motion to approve a negative conditional determination for the project as described at 2 Brenda Lane under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw, Article 14?
So moved, Ed.
Second,
Second, Bill.
Gail, how do you vote?
In favor, yes.
Indra,
Yes,
Bill,
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. And by a vote of 500, this project is approved. Good luck. You're all set.
Yes, she lived.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Kent, you have my apologies for not calling on you. I realized I did not call on you. I meant to. Okay, I'll try not to do that again. All right. Next, we're on item. Let's see. Here we are. We're on item 4B. Notice is given that the Town of Burlington Conservation Commission will hold a meeting upon we will hear a request for determination of applicability filed by Dawn and Saul Portillo. The commission would be taking information relating to the proposed tree cutting, clearing, shed installation, and residential addition construction within a locally regulated riverfront area in the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. The property is located at 23 Dolores Drive and will thereafter, the commission will issue a determination. The application is being heard under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw, Article 14, and a copy of this application is available by email at conservation@burlington.org. Okay, if someone's here for that one, please.
Hello.
Hi there, nice to see you. So why
Nice
don't
to
you
meet you as
introduce yourselves, state your address that you live, and then the floor is yours to summarize whatever you'd like to say.
Sure. I'm Dawn Portillo. This is my husband, Saul Portillo. We live at 23 Dolores Drive. What we are looking to do is take down 2 large silver maples that are in our front yard. We did have Marquee Tree come out and take a look at them. They did tell us that one of the trees is rotting on, on the inside of the trunk. And the other is dropping fairly large limbs that are, between 30 and 40 feet in length. They have done this on, we've at least lost 3 off of that tree, and we're requesting to remove those based off the fact that they are now posing a safety hazard. We are also looking to replace our existing shed in the back with a larger shed. And in order to do so, we are looking to just square off our existing lot where the vegetation has grown approximately 20 feet in behind the existing shed. And we are looking to take out 2 juniper bushes that are there, remove 1 pine tree that is leaning into the yard, remove another tree that is broken and leaning as well, and then finally a trunk from a tree that snapped due to storm damage.
That was a very good summary. Thank you. Okay. John or Eileen, some of the commissioners are out. Would you like to give us a summary of the how close to the resource area it is, relatively speaking, and the condition of what they're looking to do?
Okay, sure. I'm going to speak again. This one is jurisdictionally a little bit more complicated than the last one in that there is a regulated stream that's around something like 150 feet away from a number of the trees in the work. So it's in the outer riparian to a regulated stream. There's a drainage channel that runs along the northern edge of the property that feeds into a wetland. So there's a wetland at the sort of back left edge of their property. So all of the work that they're proposing to do in the backyard is within the buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. The shed and the 2 trees that are to be taken down are at the very outer limit of the buffer zone. So the juniper bushes are the ones that are closest. The maple trees out front are in the probably in the outer riparian. I don't have any issue with any of the work that they're proposing. I know that Marquis has been to see them about those trees. There's a significant hole in one of them that it's been dropping in, so I don't have any issue with them taking down any of the trees or removing the bushes. I think that Dawn is open to perhaps replacing the front trees with something a little smaller.
We are. We just, we're looking for something, that would be, we propose possibly 2 hawthorns or something that, would be acceptable to, would be acceptable to the commission. We just are looking for something that would grow a little bit smaller than the maples out there that we're, that we're looking to take down. And are open to suggestions.
Okay. Thank you, Eileen. Let's start with Gail. Do you have some comments or questions for us, Gail?
No, the only comment that I agree that Marquee usually is good, but just that, there shouldn't be any heavy equipment brought into the tree that's in the buffer zone, and we have something in the conditions, right? Not that the stumps are going to stay there. Yeah. So just so that they're not like.
Sorry,
heavy
Gail, I do think we need to discuss that because I think it's reasonable for her to want to remove the stumps at the front.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah,
right.
yeah.
That would be their only.
I'm talking about in the back, yeah. But just that, and also that, so that they don't bring in heavy equipment and damage that area. That's all I have.
Okay, Gail, are you talking about heavy equipment in the naturalized buffer zone? Or the grass?
I'm talking about in the naturalized area.
Oh, okay. All right. Just wanted to clarify that.
Yep.
Otherwise, it would be a real reach to get those
Yeah.
logs. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go to Indra.
Okay, no, I don't have anything further. What Gail said is well said.
Okay, and Bill?
I have no problem with the work that's being done behind the house and in the back there. I am against taking those 2 trees down out front. I don't think they look unhealthy to me. The one that's lost a few limbs, I think it just needs to be maintained every couple of years. You need tree people to come in and take out the weak branches and keep it healthy. And the other one, it does have a hole in it, but the area surrounding the hole did not appear rotted to me. And the living part of the tree is the outside of the tree, so the tree looked perfectly healthy. They're big, mature hardwood trees. I would personally think they've got 10 more years anyways before they'd even be considered to me need to be taken down. That was my comment.
All right. Okay, and Ed?
Well, pretty much that's what I did, mostly a drive-by and stop and look, so I didn't get to see the backyard, but I did see the front and felt pretty much the same way as Bill just said. The front, they just didn't look like they were trees to be removed.
All right. Okay, Kent, anything?
Nope, I agree with whatever I said.
Yeah, I looked at it and my reaction is was that it didn't look like they were that unhealthy. On the other hand, sometimes if a tree is, if it's maintained, another thing that they do to maintain it sometimes, a tree company, you could talk to an arborist who would know, but sometimes they put in wires to tie it together so that it eliminates any major trunks falling down for trees that are sort of bending out with. So I don't know if it's done on every tree. I've seen it done on a few trees. But on the other hand, I'm not necessarily going to raise a serious objection to them doing it. So is there anyone in the audience for this? No. Okay, so is there any other business? The draft?
You cut out partially there, Larry. Did you want me to share the draft? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so I was asking if there's anything else from the commission. Okay. Eileen, why don't you share the draft and let's go through it.
Right. Come on. There we go. All right. So this is for work at 23 Dolores Drive, Dawn and Saul Portillo. She provided a narrative description of work with photographs and figures showing the location of proposed changes prepared by the applicant. The applicant proposed to replace an existing shed, remove 5 trees and 2 juniper bushes, and clear saplings and down vegetation and level an area of approximately 25 by 40 feet behind the existing shed. The cleared area would be converted to lawn. I actually did it right. And the new shed will be installed. I'll put that in. Work at the rear of the house would be within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and within the riverfront area to a Burlington regulated stream. A channel directing stormwater towards that stream is also located at the northern border of the lot. The two maples at the front of the house were within 100 feet of that channel and within the outer riparian to the regulated stream. Work occurred within existing lawn and woodland. The proposed work was located within the 100-foot buffer zone to BVW and within the outer 100 feet of riverfront area of a locally regulated stream. And for the purposes of this slide, conservation made no finding as to the exact boundaries of the BVW on site. We're proposing that the Commission votes to issue a negative determination of applicability with conditions as noted in this decision for work at 23 Dolores. And as they heard in the previous decision, because a lot of these are the same, the decision is only for work outlined in the project description. No other work was permitted or reviews in this decision. The applicant may proceed with tree removal. Removal of any of the trees beyond those permitted by this decision will require additional approval from the Commission or Conservation Administrator and may require submission of a written assessment by a certified arborist that they pose a hazard or are in significant decline. No clearing of vegetation other than removal of the juniper is permitted at the right rear of the lot. For tree trimming or removals that are not feasible to do by hand, machinery such as a bucket truck or crane shall be located in the driveway or existing lawn areas. So I think that addresses Gail's concern. The stumps of the trees should not be removed without additional approval from the Commission or Conservation Administrator. I think I need to add a line in there if everyone's in agreement to say the stumps of the trees at front may be ground down, and then she can replant 2 new trees. The applicant is encouraged to leave snags, the portion of the trunk for wildlife habitat. Sediment barriers shall be installed and inspected by the Conservation Department prior to any land disturbance. Sediment barriers shall be installed across the property between the house and wetland. All construction and demolition materials and excavated soil should be disposed of off-site in a legal manner. No stockpiling of soil or the material within 50 feet of wetlands. No tracking of sediments onto the public roadways, and if that occurs, it should be swept. No filling and grading on the property under this decision other than as approved by this decision. Tree, sediment, lawn clippings, and landscape materials should not be dumped in the vegetated wetlands, and any that falls in shall be removed by hand. Pesticides, fungicides, and herbicides shall not be used within the wetlands or within 100 feet of wetlands. And the last 2 are, as Dawn heard before, about we have the right to inspect just during construction. Did anybody have any issue with me adding a line in about tweaking the part about finding the stumps at the front?
I think we agreed to that, or Eileen, I think Gail may have said she agreed to that when that came up.
Okay.
Okay.
Larry, could I
So-
just make a comment?
Yes,
So as a tree lover, I love trees, obviously, but silver maples are not frequently planted in people's yards or as street trees because they can get really enormous. They drop limbs frequently. They're not a great tree for a small yard. They're great in floodplains. They're a beautiful tree along rivers, but in somebody's yard, they're not frequently planted as yard trees. So and the 2 trees out front, the silver maples, are also a good distance away from any resource area.
yeah, thank you, John. That was a determining factor for me, frankly, that it was on the front of the house, and if they want to take the trees down, and also based on what you just said, yeah, I guess it sounds like a reasonable approach. Anyone else would like to comment on this subject about the trees in the front yard? All right.
This is Bill. Not about the trees in the front yard, but I did have a comment on item 2 on the,
You're muted now.
sorry, item 2 on the conditions. It does say the junipers on the right rear of the lot. I think the junipers are on the left rear of the lot if I am. And that is the area closest to the resource area as well. So I think that should say no additional cutting on the left part of the lot. Am I correct on that?
I think that's the case, Bill. Eileen?
Sorry, I was muted. I was just checking it to see. I'm sure Bill is right. Yeah, I'll fix that if that's what we said.
Right. Okay. All right. So if there's nothing further from anyone, one last question. Are we particular, John, do you have any recommendation for, does this decision say anything about the replacement of trees? These folks were offering to replace some trees in front, I think. If I heard correctly. Is that correct? Yes. So do we have any specification or any advice to give on that, John or Eileen?
Well, they're hoping to maybe choose some relatively small trees. So she had Dawn and I can talk next week. I told her I would talk to John about this for a couple of good suggestions.
Okay,
Fine.
that's fine. All right, so could I have a motion to issue a negative conditional determination as discussed for the property at 23 Dolores Drive under Burlington bylaw Article 14? Is there such a motion?
So moved, Gail.
Indra,
Okay, second for Indra. Okay, Gail, how do you vote?
In favor, yes.
Indra?
yes, in favor.
Bill?
Yes, except for the removal of the trees.
Well, that's not the motion.
And I guess I'm a no.
Okay. Ed?
Yes.
All right, and the chair votes yes by a vote of 4-1-0. This application passes. Good luck with your project, folks. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Larry,
Okay.
Larry, there are quite a few people here. You might just remind everybody about the hearings that have been continued in case anybody's showing up for those.
All right, we have some, we already covered this, but I'll repeat it for the benefit of the folks who might be waiting for it. The public hearing for 59 and 61, replacement of the D'Angelo's on Middlesex Turnpike with to demolish the gas station and convenience store, restaurant building, and construct a new gas station and convenience store has been continued until April 22nd. The continued public hearing of the Redmond Street roadway, number 4 Redmond Street and number 5 Redmond Street, has been continued at their request and voted upon by the commission to be continued to April 22nd. So if you're here tonight, you probably don't want to sit here unless you're interested in Conservation Commission stuff, other than that. All right. Okay, so next. We're on item number 5. It's a request for a certificate of compliance for and release of surety for 68 Wilmington Road. It's the estate of Michael Sylvester, DEP file number 122-517. It's a hearing we initially conducted 8 years ago and was extended 3 years after that. And here we have a request for a certificate. Someone's here for that?
Larry, you should probably open number 6 as well, so we can talk about them both at the same time.
Okay, that sounds like an excellent idea. Ms. Trudeau, if you hang on a minute, we'll open that hearing as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Notice is hereby given the Town of Burlington Conservation Commission will hold a virtual public hearing to take all information related to a notice of intent filed by Nash Kadir for the completion of a previously approved and partially constructed single-family construction project at 68 Wilmington Road. The proposed work would be within riverfront area in the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands and bank pursuant to the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14. The commission will be reviewing all information relative to the application and may issue an order of conditions and a Burlington Wetlands permit for the proposed project. The application may be viewed online at the conservation website, the Town of Burlington. Okay, so, Ms. Trudeau, the floor is yours. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Mary Trudeau, and I'm representing the applicant this evening on both of the items that are in front of you right now. As the chairman had mentioned, this permit, the order of conditions, was originally issued for the 68 Wilmington Road lot in 2014, and through a variety of extensions, it was kept alive until 2020, whereupon it lapsed. And so there currently is no active order of conditions on this property. One of the reasons that the permit had lapsed is that the owner who had originally pursued the permit for this has passed away, and the lot is now in the estate of Michael Sylvester, and has a new buyer. Nash Kadir, who is the applicant, is the new buyer for this project. When we spoke with John Keeley about the possibility of refiling to get an order of conditions that would allow us to complete the work that was begun on this project, he noted that we should submit an application for a certificate of compliance to close out the older file. So we have done that. We would expect that the certificate of compliance would note that the work was not completed and remains incomplete. And the favor that we had asked for on this was that an as-built plan, which was a condition of the order of conditions, not be required at this point in time because we are filing a notice of intent and will be issued another order of conditions, we hope, that will allow us to finish the project, and that would be the opportune time to give the commission the as-built plan when the work is completed. We did submit some photographs in our notice of intent that support the request for certificate of compliance. As you may have seen from either your site visit or from the photographs we gave, the foundation is in on this property. Partial driveway has been completed and not much else has occurred. The erosion and sedimentation controls were installed. They are currently decayed and would need to be replaced. But in terms of looking at the certificate of compliance, I think it's very obvious that the work is incomplete and that we just need to do this administrative task before we can start to talk to you about the notice of intent that we filed for you now.
All right, John or Eileen, do you have some comments on, first, the request for a certificate?
So initially, I was leaning towards not recommending issuing a certificate until we got some more information. I didn't want to recommend issuing a certificate if it turns out the foundation had been put in the wrong place, or it was the wrong size, or any work was done like that that was not in compliance with the original order. But I did look at the building department file today, and there was an foundation as-built plan submitted to the building department. So I was able to compare the foundation as-built with the approved plan, and the foundation does match the same dimensions and same distance to the resource area as what was originally proposed. So then my only other question is, so you would be issuing a partial certificate for basically just the foundation, I believe. There was other work, like utility work, which I don't know. Mary, you saying the water line, the sewer line, none of that work was done yet?
No, some of it was done. The water line was brought partway down the driveway to the crossing, as was the sewer extension, I believe. Andy Bram is on the call and he can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but the work was not completed. The utilities have not been brought across the stream and to the new house. It's my understanding that the remaining utility work occurs within the footprint of the driveway, that the cross-country work has occurred and the crossing of the water line through the stream bed was done, and I believe that inspection reports were submitted to your office at the time that work occurred. I think it was in 2016, 2017.
All right,
So-
Mr. Bram, does Mr. Bram have a comment on this?
He's muted.
All right, can you hear me now? Yes, the Mary is correct. I'm sorry?
Go ahead, please continue.
Mary is correct. The new water lines were brought in under the stream, and they're capped at the near the foundation, as is the new sewer line. The recharge system is in, and at this point, we're ready to start framing. What needs to be done as far as the old order is the driveway, the double driveway, and there's some replacement tree planting that has to be done.
Yeah, I can get into the details of what will be included in the future order, but I thought we would handle the request for the certificate of compliance first and get that task done.
John, does it put the commission at a disadvantage for approving some things that are not yet done with a certificate, betting that it's going to be in the new order, or that we're going to get the applicant to totally agree? Or should we leave that, the old order open and then continue with the new order?
No, I don't see any downside to really issuing the certificate of compliance at this point. It will specify in it that it's partial, and will specify the work that has been completed in the COC.
All right, and are you also recommending release of surety on this?
So we were not able to find any surety, so I don't think the applicants initially gave us surety.
All right, which we have to make sure that doesn't happen again, I guess. Okay, all right. So therefore, does the commission have any comments on issuing the certificate of compliance for 68 Wilmington Road? Any comments at all? Kent or any of the commissioners?
So
You're muted, Gail. You're still muted.
yeah, so my question was the power has been brought in also?
Yes.
Okay.
Any, from anyone else, any comments?
I have one question. The sewer line went up the existing driveway, and did the actual water line go under the stream beside that, or did it go up the driveway?
No, under the stream.
Wow, I don't even see any evidence of it. That's good.
It was, yeah, it was done in the dry, and we have photographs that we had submitted to the commission at that point in time. So they were able to do the work with minimal impact.
Good. Thank you.
All right, anyone else on the commission?
So we are talking about partial certificate of compliance, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, hearing nothing further, could I have a motion to issue a partial certificate of compliance specifying on the certificate what work has been done for the project at 68 Wilmington Road under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 in the State Wetlands Protection Act? Is there a motion?
So
So
moved, Bill.
moved. Indra.
Okay, was there a second in there somewhere?
I'll be the second.
Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
All right, the chair votes yes by a vote of 500. The certificate of compliance for the order in 2014 has been issued. All right, so now we have the new filing. Would you like to make additional comments, please?
I will. We have filed a notice of intent for the completion of the work that was begun under the 2014 filing known as 122-517. The work that was commenced was towards the construction of a single-family dwelling. And as we have noted earlier this evening, the foundation has been poured, it's in place, it's been backfilled, but no framing or structure has been set upon the foundation. Utilities have been brought into the site, but have not been brought down the full length of the driveway to the new dwelling. There also was a requirement, I believe this was an amendment to the original order of conditions, that a double wide driveway be constructed. That I think that the first time you saw this project, there was a single width driveway running east to west on the north side of the lot. And at some point in this process, a second driveway was added. I believe it was for fire safety. So that was done as a modification in the old order of conditions, but it's being included in this notice of intent filing. This site is a very interesting site. It contains a stream which is protected under your local riverfront regulations. And it also has an associated bordering vegetated wetland that lies between Wilmington Road and the proposed work. The crossing has been in place for many years because there is a house at the end of the existing driveway, number 68 Wilmington Road. We do not need to do any additional work to the crossing. The pipe can stay in place. The remaining utilities will pass across the top of the culvert and be within the fill material that the driveway is bedded on. We are using the original wetland flags. I went out to the site earlier this winter and I was only able to find one of the bank flags, which is on the southern section of the stream. And I was able to find most of the flags on the northern bank, but I did have the surveyor go out and replace those flags so that you would be able to see them at your site visit. Based on my impressions, I thought that the 4 bank flags had not changed at all. And I felt very comfortable with the wetlands flagging. I was able to locate the flags based on where I thought the wetlands line would be rather than looking for remnants of old flagging alone. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. One of the interesting things that happened in this earlier process was that I believe the work was being done as your riverfront area regulations were being formatted. And this project had an agreement with the commission that there would be no work within the 100-foot riverfront area, but that they would not be limited within the 100 to 200-foot riverfront area in terms of the activities that were proposed. This had some implications during the original review in that the infiltration system was minimized to reduce the amount of impact that was being done on the site. And we are proposing the exact same situation. We are proposing the same infiltration system, the same foundation, the same driveway, the same landscaping plan that was approved in the old order of conditions. And we are leaving that first 100 feet above the stream bank intact. We are not going into that area at all for landscaping or construction. The erosion controls that are shown on your site plan were originally installed on the property, but have become decayed and really need to be completely replaced. The silt fence is still visible, but it's no longer functional. So that before any work takes place on this site, the applicant will go back and redo all of the erosion and sedimentation controls that we've shown you on our site plan. The plan that we gave you this time also shows the planting of, I think it's 7 or 8 trees. And that was a requirement of the planning board, I believe, at some point in time, but we've added it to your site plan to show you the planting work as well. With that exception of the trees, I think that the plan is almost identical to what you approved in 2014 with the subsequent amendments that occurred between 2014 and 2020. Are there questions?
I'm sure there are, but let's hear from either John or Eileen, our staff, to see what comments they have for this.
So I don't really have a lot to add to what Mary just said. So once again, in the original filing, we considered it riverfront under both the Wetlands Protection Act because it's part of the Ipswich River. And now that was before we had the bylaw. So now it's protected both under the bylaw and we would maintain under the Wetlands Protection Act, although it's academic at this point since the bylaw has equal protection. Nothing else to add.
All right. All right. So, Gail, do you have any comments or questions on this one?
So I didn't see any details for the trench along the driveway. So I mean, I think where they're going to do this dual driveway, the one on the left talks about a trench there. We need some details about that. I mean, obviously that's going to be important, being so close to the resource area. It also would be nice to know how they're going to prevent gravel from ending up in the resource area, what kind of trench it's going to be, how that's going to be maintained when they plow it and so forth. So I'd like to see some detail on that. We're going to need to, the usual stuff, see some details about the planting plan and so forth. And so all the infiltrator and all the stormwater stuff, that was approved before, and those have all been installed. Is that correct?
I believe that they have. There also is an infiltration trench detail on the site plan that we gave you in the upper left-hand corner.
For the driveway?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed it. I'll check it out. Okay.
And it's set slightly below the grades of the adjacent driveways, which are crowned to discharge into the trench. And I would assume that snow would be directed in towards the trench from the northern driveway and probably to the other side for the southern driveway, but that each driveway would be done as a separate pass, leaving the infiltration trench intact during snow events.
Yeah, I guess there's just concern about, the longevity of that, that's all. But, okay, I'll look at that. I didn't notice it before. Sorry about that. Oh, I see it now. Yep. Okay, that's it for me, Larry, for now.
All right. Okay, Indra.
Yes, what I heard, did you, that stormwater quality device, has it been installed?
Andy, I think it had, but I'm not positive.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Has the stormwater infiltration system at the east end of the property been installed?
Yes.
It is installed, okay. All right.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Bill?
Okay, there we go. I was looking at the drawing, so my mute button didn't work. The questions that I had pretty much have been answered. I was concerned about the driveway runoff. The driveway itself, the new double driveway, is that paved or gravel? I don't remember.
I believe it's
Paved.
paved.
Sorry?
Paved?
Paved, okay. And it's going to pitch into the center line there, the center catch.
That's the intent, that the
Area.
drivers will be found so that they
Um,
bend inward.
I had a question about the existing erosion controls. You said you're going to refresh them, so that's good. That's all I had. We had spent a lot of time working on the previous plan, and it's pretty much being resurrected. Are there a lot of trees coming down in this project?
Not anymore, no.
No.
I think that the earthwork is basically complete, other than, the finished grading and the loom and seed. The grades have all been done, the utilities have been started. There shouldn't be any more tree removal.
Okay. It would be nice to have some spot grades on the driveway, I think, to make sure that it's pitched properly so that it drains as it's designed. Other than that, I'm all set.
Okay.
All right, okay. How about Ed?
Mine was answered in relation to snow removal, so I'm good.
Okay, Kent?
Nothing of that already been asked.
Okay. I have just a couple of things. Is the infiltration trench that extend the full length of the cross hatching between the two driveways?
Yes, that is the symbol for the infiltration trench.
And that's the intent. It goes the full length, okay.
Yes.
And
Well, until the crossing, because that's where the driveway diverges.
okay. Until the crossing, yes.
Because
Okay,
it's a single width driveway coming off of Wilmington Road, and then it gets wider as it comes into the site after the crossing.
I think there should be some spot grades and put on the plan because that, someone mentioned that because if the thing is not tilted correctly, we've often seen driveways constructed and then you just don't get the water or only a portion of the driveway runs off in the correct way. The whole idea is that the runoff is going to head towards the infiltration trench. And sometimes asphalt paving companies don't pay much attention if it's not on there.
Yeah, we can ask the engineer to look at that and give us
Okay.
some grades to shoot for.
All right. John or Eileen, the disturbance is in, aside from the plantings, is in the outer riparian zone. Is there a requirement under the Wetlands Protection Act and our bylaw to have an improvement to the riverfront?
So the plan shows planting of 13 trees, I believe.
I see
Yeah.
10 big, 13, oh yes, 13, correct.
Yeah.
And that's the improvement.
Correct.
Okay. Is there any improvement or is this something we should look at a little further to do anything that enhances the ability of the river at that point to function? Is there anything further regarding anything need to be removed or anything? Did anybody see any trash? Did anybody see any obstructions or anything that needs attention?
So, you mean, there was some, looked like some lumber on pallets or something on either side, but I'm not sure whether those are on this property.
Okay.
It was my impression that the brook was flowing freely through the culvert.
Yeah, it was, but there, you could see though, there was some debris that looked like some wood pallets or lumber or something that were on both sides of the drive coming in. But again, I'm just not sure it's part of your property. It might be a butters, I don't know.
Well, these applicants may be willing just to remove a couple of pallets if the owners agreed. So if you
Yeah,
could ask.
I don't think it's a problem. I
Yeah.
think we would do our best to clean up at
That would
least the
be-
river we own and possibly a little further.
I can do that tomorrow.
Would be great. Does anyone see anything else that needs touch up or improvement or attention for the benefit of the stream?
Is there going to be any, I'm sorry, is there going to be any kind of demarcation or anything, around the do not disturb area so that there won't be dumping of landscaping or encroachment on that?
We could install something like those pheno markers, and have the plate say riverfront area or protected area. I'm not sure what you'd like to see.
You're muted, Gail.
Sorry, we, oftentimes have a fence or boulders or something that, kind of is a, so that people won't dump beyond there, and also to kind of limit encroachment, because it is a very tight site, and, we do want to ensure that whoever moves in that home won't try to expand their property into the resource area.
I think we're amenable to it, whether it be a split rail fence or, something like boulders. I think that would be fine. We could work with your staff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'd leave it to staff, yeah.
Okay, is there anything else? I just had one thing. Is it designated where the contractor is going to have a materials laydown area?
He has plenty of area to the east of this house footprint.
If you're marking up the plan, could you
Yeah.
mark it up there? Because I'd hate to see, just because of a simple mistake, all the materials are dropped closer to the stream on that side. I'd hate to see
Okay.
that.
Yep,
Okay.
we will mark a staging area.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience for this at 68 Wilmington Road? Anyone would like to make a comment?
I have a question.
Yes, who's that?
That's Lauren Berglund. I'm a butter. I just want to know if any of this has any impact on the original approval by the planning board for the subdivision of that property.
Okay, what's your address, please?
10 Woodhill Road.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so we have some residents from 10 Woodhull Road. John, do you see anything that would affect what the planning board approved?
So this does not affect the subdivision approval at all. The applicants will need to go to the planning board and get an extension of their subdivision. I believe it's expired or close to expiring. But nothing that the commission's doing will affect that subdivision.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, please? Comments? All right, so what, yes? No. All right, so what I've heard is that Gail asked some questions about the trench along the driveway. I think that was resolved. You said something about a planting plan. Do we need more, Gail, on that? Are we okay? We have
Mostly, they just need to confirm with the staff, the types of trees that they're planting, so make sure that we're, getting what we expect and that they're native trees.
All right, and spot grades need to be put on the plan. You'll also agree to remove some miscellaneous lumber from pallets and stuff on each side of the property. Try to remove that. And you've agreed to a demarcation of split rail fence or boulders, something to be worked out. And you're going to mark the staging area on the plan. Did I hear, is there anything else that needs to be done?
That's all I had.
Okay, then it sounds to me, John or Eileen, do you feel like we will close the hearing and issue at the next meeting? I didn't hear anything where we're waiting for information other than the revised plan if they get it in on time.
No, we should have a draft ready for the next meeting, and we did get a DEP file number on it as well.
Okay. All right. If there's nothing further, we will, do we need a vote to continue? All right, so,
Yes.
all right, could I have a motion to continue the public hearing for 68 Wilmington Road until our next meeting at April 22nd?
So moved. Indra.
Second?
Second, Phil.
All right, thank you. Gail, how do you vote?
Yes, in favor?
Indra?
Yes, in favor.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes by a vote of 500. The hearing on 68 Wilmington Road is continued to April 22nd.
Thank you so much. We'll get a plan to you shortly.
All
Thank you.
right, thank you. Okay, the next is we have a continued public hearing, 6 Terrace Hall Ave. It's the Langone Development Group Incorporated for demolish a dwelling and construct a new single-family dwelling. It has a DEP file number 122-656. This is item number 7. It is a continued public hearing. Someone here for that?
Yes, good evening. Maureen Harold, Norse Environmental, and Jonathan Langone as well.
All right, nice to see you folks.
Thank you.
All right, so why you have the floor first? Why don't you, I guess, start talking?
Sure. So at the last hearing, there are a number of items the commission wanted us to address. One of them was a site visit to take a look at the wetland boundary, specifically behind the dwelling. So I set up a site visit with John and Eileen, and we went out and we looked at the areas around wetland flag 5A and 6A. This was an area of lawn. We checked the soils in this location, and sure enough, they were hydric or wetland soils. So as a result, ended up shifting the wetland flags up gradient. 5A was shifted up gradient 7.8 feet. I added a new flag, 5A-1. 6A was shifted up 22 feet, added a wetland flag, 6A-1. As a result of the wetland flag adjustments, we adjusted the setbacks as well, the 20-foot no disturb and the 40-foot no build, as shown on the plan in front of you. In addition to that, there was a lot of discussion regarding 3 trees that we proposed to remove. 2 are pine trees and 1 is a red maple. Because the wetland boundary did shift up gradient quite a bit, the red maple that we originally proposed to remove, we are requesting that to stay now. There is a pitch pine in front of that red maple tree. It's pretty gnarly looking. It has quite a fork in it, and I also noticed some insects and rot in the tree as well. So if possible, we would like to remove that tree. And the other pine tree we would like to remove is the white pine tree near the roadway. It's a fairly large pine tree, and it has two distinct forks in it in different locations. These are basically defects in the trees. They essentially weaken the trees. So if possible, we would like to remove that white pine tree as well. I provided the commission some photographs of the trees. But lastly, because the wetland line did shift up gradient, we are proposing to plant 4 native trees, 4 native shrubs within the no disturb zone. We also noticed a fill pile behind the wooden structure. We'll remove that as well. But as a result of the wetland shift, we're now requesting a waiver to the 20-foot no disturb as well as the 40-foot no build. And I can open it to the commission if you have any questions.
All right, thank you. John or Eileen? Oh, did we get everything we expected from the list, from your perspective?
So Larry, you weren't at but things have changed because the wetland flags are different than they were before.
Right, so the wetland flags are different because we moved the wetland up into what had previously been lawn. So so all the new flags are up into, well into an area that has been mowed for many, many, many years. So I recommended to the applicant that that they request the waivers and not redesign the project, because the commission's going to be getting back an area that has been mowed for years, and it'll be restored as bordering vegetated wetland.
Okay. And how many feet, John or Maureen, are we getting back from the original?
So from 5A, the flag shifted up about 8 feet, a little bit less, 7.8. And from flag 6A, it shifted up 22 feet. So it's essentially falls between those 2 trees we had originally proposed to cut. Between
I get it.
the pine and the red maple.
Got it. Thank you. All right. John, anything further?
No, nothing further.
All right. Did we ask for a detail on the trench? There was a trench. Did we ask for that? I have a note to that effect.
There's a detail on the plan. It's
Okay.
at the bottom of the plan, to the
Okay.
left of note, somewhat in the
Okay.
center.
Typical, okay. All right. I see typical recharge. No. Is that it? No.
Infiltration trench detail.
Oh, yes, I got it. Missed it. That's in black and white. There you go. Got a colored infiltration trench. All right. Okay. And I think that's everything that I had for notes. Thank you. That was the only other thing I noticed. All right, so let's go with Gail. Anything more on this one?
So I just want to clarify, so the area where the new wetland flags are placed, so that area is going to be left to naturalize, is that correct?
That's correct. The intent is to restore the wetland. We're going to initiate the restoration with the plantings, but we will clearly mark this area so that it won't be encroached. There won't be any
And how will it be?
area.
So, because that will really decrease the size of the yard. So how is that going to be marked, please?
Jonathan, do you have a preference?
We have it, it's on the plan. We have, we're either gonna have a post and rail fence or a line of boulders. And they would be insignificant size, so they would not be able to just be moved by the potential new homeowner.
Yeah, I think, well, I'd leave it to the staff on that. We definitely want something that, I think, I don't know, personally, I think a fence might be better, without a gate, no gate, because, we don't want people dumping back there or that kind of thing. But that's all I have.
All right, Indra, anything further?
Nope.
Okay, Bill?
Just for my clarification, I'm in favor of the post and rail fence, but the fence is basically going to now return the area currently covered by that wooden driveway structure.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
that property is being allowed to come back to naturalized. Okay, so
Correct.
that's what we're really gaining then, is where that wooden shelter is currently structured.
Yes.
Good, good. That I think is fine and justification for the variances.
All right, thank you, Bill. Ed?
No, nothing to add.
Kent?
Nothing that nobody has everybody's pointed out.
So is it intended that the post and rail fence would be squared off? Is that the intent, is what you're essentially saying? Because if you follow the wetlands line, it's a rather unusual demarcation.
Correct. So it'll be squared off to the easterly side of the right-hand side and tie into the retaining wall that we're proposing. So just beyond the driveway.
All right. So is it going to follow the limit of work? Is that what it's going to do essentially?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And essentially, will you be moving the limit of work once you remove will you be moving the limit of work up once you remove that wooden structure? Is that what you're thinking?
That's correct. So we'll remove the wooden structure and that fill pile that's beyond the wooden structure. We'll install the plants and we can also move the erosion controls up, but then get the permanent demarcation in.
Right. Okay. Sounds great. Is there anyone in the audience for this? This is a public hearing for number 6 Terrace Hall Ave. Okay, so did I see that we have a draft for this one, John or Eileen?
Yes.
All right, so please do a quick review. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll go through the bylaw first. Findings. Let's see. Basically, standard findings. We're finding that we agree with the wetland delineation. Stormwater management. The project is exempt because it's a single-family house lot. But they are doing infiltration of both rooftop and driveway. The commission finds that the no build and no disturb setbacks to the BVW, there's a request to waive them. The commission's finding that it would be difficult to comply with the setback requirements both to the property lines and BVW without engineering extensive walls and additional disturbance to the lot. The applicant is proposing to remove one tree and the wooden canopy in the 20-foot no disturb. The removal of the canopy itself is an improvement, and the applicant also proposes to clear the fill pile at the edge of the wetland to restore the wetland lawn areas within the addition of 4 trees and 4 shrubs. Then there's a discussion about the 20-foot no disturb fence boundary, allowing the area to revegetate. And that the granting of this waiver doesn't set any sort of precedent, as each application before the commission shall be judged on its own merits. And basically, the permit under the Wetlands Protection Act is also a permit under the Stormwater Bylaw. Then for the decision under the bylaw, condition 2 is a recommendation for a cash surety of $3,500. And that's about it for the findings and the bylaw decision. The order of conditions is a fairly standard order of conditions. Both Maureen and Mr. Langone have seen these several times. So I'll skip down to buffer zone restoration and landscaping demarcation, which is on page 4. Condition 47 is the requirement to put in the post and rail fences discussed. Condition 48 is the requirement for the plantings in the buffer zone. And actually, some of them will actually be in what's now considered bordering vegetated wetlands with the flag changes. Condition 49 is the requirement to remove some of the debris by hand that the commission saw when they did a site walk. And that's basically it. Everything else is pretty standard.
All right, so does anyone in the commission, Gail, Indra, Bill, Ed, Kent, have any further comments on this document that was just reviewed?
No.
No,
All right, I think, I don't see anything, the applicant readily agreed to moving of the erosion control line once the wood canopy is removed. I think, we should just have a condition that basically says what they've agreed to. That the wood canopy, the erosion control line should be pulled forward after the wood canopy is removed. Any comment?
Got it. No, that makes sense. Yes.
Okay. And I'd like to be careful when we're doing a waiver. I'd like to suggest to the commission, I don't know how you feel, but I think we should approximate how much square feet of bordering vegetative wetland we are recovering from this project back. We are recovering back. And if there's any upland to the wetland, undisturbed upland that we're, maybe in front of a wetland number 7A, maybe we're recovering we're going to have some undisturbed upland buffer zone being recovered. I think we should quantify it. Would anyone like to comment on that? That's part of the justification, because we're doing 2 waivers and we don't often waive the no disturb zone. So I'm wondering if that's a good idea. Any comments, please?
Yeah, this is Bill. I agree that the documentation and getting some documentation of the magnitude that we are gaining back that did justify it would give us a good precedent to use in the future.
Maureen,
I agree, and I think it's also documented in the findings that the area currently has a lawn, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I can provide that square footage to John and Eileen. That's not a problem.
That would be great if you could do that. Thank you very much.
Sure.
yes, I also agree. That's a good idea.
All right. Thank you, Indra.
Mhm.
Kent, I assume you agree as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea for future precedents.
Okay. All right. Okay, so is there anything further from any member of the commission before we proceed to the motions? Have a motion to issue a waiver of the 40-foot no build zone for this project because in consideration for the additional areas that we are gaining back of bordering vegetative wetland and unnaturalized upland.
You looking for a motion on it?
Yes,
So moved. This is for the 40-foot?
yes.
No disturb, no build, yes.
All right, is there a second?
Seconded.
Okay, Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra,
Yes,
Bill,
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
The chair votes yes. By a vote of 5-0-0, a waiver of the 40-foot no build zone has been granted. Let's do the next one. Could I have a motion to issue a waiver of the 20-foot no disturb line regulation. It's a 20-foot no disturb regulation in consideration for the amount of wetland and naturalized upland that we are recovering from this project, this proposed project. Is there a motion to that effect for a waiver?
This is Bill. I just want a quick clarification. It looks to me like the only work actually being done inside the new revised 20-foot no disturb is improvement work. Is that correct? Just removing the wooden structure and planting some trees?
No, so if you look
It
at your
does.
plan,
Yes.
a portion of the lawn area is proposed within the 20-foot no disturb. The deck is proposed 26 feet away. So we do have a portion of the lawn area behind the deck.
Can you
That's
tell me
already- that's
how
already
much,
existing, right?
how much area is that, the distance of that lawn area?
Just 1 minute.
You're not adding lawn area there. That's already existing. So there's not really any new work.
Right, so it's existing lawn area, but it is within the 20-foot no disturb because the wetland boundary moved up.
Correct.
And how much is coming?
It's approximately, well, from the new flag 6A-1, it's 20 feet. But it's not throughout the whole 20-foot no disturb.
I see.
It's more or less behind the house area.
Okay, thank you.
And it's because that 6A-1 juts into the upland.
Correct. Into the lawn.
And that's the only one where that flag is doing it. Is that correct?
Yes, for the most part, yes. 5A-1 moved up as well, so.
Right. 5A right. All right. So Bill, are you okay with this?
Yeah, I was supporting it by the fact that there's really very little work being done within the 20-foot no disturb. The actual only physical work being done to change what's within the 20-foot no disturb now is improvements. So yes, I'm all in favor of it. I'll make a
All
motion.
right. So how should we frame the motion? Should we leave it the way I just said it? Or should we add anything to it?
Well, can I just clarify, Bill? So with the new wetland delineation, the post and rail fence is right at the boundary of the new wetland flag 6A. So there's basically no 20-foot no disturb there at all. There's no disturb. You're muted, Bill.
Right. Bill, you're still muted.
You're muted.
So that fence is really then being put in a place that allows some of the 20-foot no disturb to be part of general use in the yard. So that's why we need a waiver of it, is for the fence, okay. But the justification is, again, the fact that there is other parts of it are being improved and returned to naturalization.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So the justification of what I stated in the motion is correct. So is there a motion to that effect that we're waiving the 20-foot no disturb regulation?
Yes, I still move that, because now that I understand it, I agree. I move that we waive that 20-foot no disturb.
All right. Is there a second?
Second, Ed.
All right. Gail, how do you vote?
That was yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes by a vote of 5-0-0. The 20-foot no disturb regulation has been waived for this project in consideration of the additional naturalized areas being recovered. All right. So Jonathan, I saw earlier you were trying to say something, but I think you were muted, so I just thought I'd point that out to you.
Yes, there was one comment I did have on the decision for it, on the draft decision, and it was on number 48, I believe it was. And
Okay.
it specifies on number 48 that the plants need to live for 2 growing seasons.
Yes.
And I just want to clarify that with the 2 growing seasons, that they won't hold up a certificate of compliance because I don't plan on owning it for the 2 full growing seasons. I would like to get an order of conditions prior to that.
Oftentimes, if that's the only thing left, anybody can chime in here, John or Eileen. We often issue the certificate, but hold a portion of the bond to verify that the planting is done. It takes.
Right, exactly. So the certificate of compliance could be issued, and then of the $3,500 bond, the commission could hold, well, for 4 trees, maybe $500 or $1,000 of it or something like that. That's for 2 growing
Okay.
seasons.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's acceptable. Not a problem.
All right. Okay. Thanks for the question. Okay. Could I have a motion, therefore, to close this hearing for its DEP file number? What's the number?
656?
Okay, 122-656 for 68 Wilmington Road. Is there such a motion?
So moved. Indra.
Second?
Seconded.
All right, Gail, how do you vote? Closing the hearing?
Yes. Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Okay, the chair votes yes. The hearing is closed by a vote of 5-0. Could I have a motion to issue the findings under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for the property located at 6 Terrace Hall Ave?
So moved, Bill.
Second?
Second, Gail.
All right, Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Okay, the chair votes yes. The findings are issued in bylaw Article 14 for the hearing at 6 Terrace Hall Ave. Okay, could I have a motion to issue the order of conditions under both Burlington Bylaw Article 14 and the State Wetlands Protection Act for the project at 6 Terrace Hall Ave, DEP file number 122-656.
So moved,
moved.
Gail.
Second?
Second, Indra.
Okay, Gail, your vote?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes by a vote of 5-0. The order of conditions under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 and the State Wetlands Protection Act is approved. Could I have a motion to require the posting of $3,500 surety under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for DEP file number 122-656 for the property at 6 Terrace Hall Ave?
So moved, Bill.
Second?
Second, Indra.
Is there any question on the amount by the commission? Okay. All right. How do you vote, Gail? $3,500 bond. Okay. Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
The chair votes yes by a vote of 5-0. The requirement to post a $3,500 surety is approved. All right. Maureen and Jonathan, good luck with this project.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a great night, guys.
All right. You too. Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right. Next, as we are at planning board comments, believe it or not. All right, do we have comments going to the planning board at all?
At some point, I'll certainly comment on 5961 Middlesex Turnpike now that they've finally received an application.
Okay. All right, subcommittee and staff reports and updates. Is there anything going on we should talk about?
There was just one minor issue that Lisa wanted me to point out to you all. Let me just share again now that I think I'm back on. So we're using new DEP forms, so the signature sheets look a little bit different than they did before. And oh, okay, so this is what you're now signing. So the signatures are actually going on the left. Just pointing it out because last week most people signed their names like beside their print names, but we just need them to be where it says signature. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. I wanted to bring something up. I got an email from a resident who was wondering, does the commission know of or is doing anything with respect to doing a cleanup of any conservation areas? So I just wanted to throw it out to the commission. If you've been on any conservation areas that you think need attention.
So Larry, I've thought about what you were talking about, and I just have a suggestion. So I don't think there are any conservation areas that I know. They're actually in pretty good shape. I think people have been doing a good job, but resource areas that are important. So if you walk down any roadway, for instance, in my neighborhood, Erin, or where the sawmill crosses under Mill Street, there's a lot of trash along the edge of the roadway, all kinds of stuff that people could pick up. If you go to any sports field, and a lot of them are near resource areas, there are a lot of water bottles and other types of trash that are there. So those would definitely benefit because a lot of those places abut wetlands or streams. And so in my perspective, I mean, that would be helpful. I personally have not seen much trash on the conservation trails.
Okay. John or Eileen, is this something that a suggestion we might want to pass on to, say, the Boy Scouts or something of that nature, or the Girl Scouts?
What are you referring to?
What Gail suggested, picking up, sort of policing the areas around resource areas, particularly where our roads cross and stuff. There's a lot of trash and bottles.
Certainly, if they're looking for projects, that's a good one. So I have spoken to we do have a land management person who patrols our conservation areas, and I've asked him, and he actually came up with a list of some areas where, he finds party sites with his broken glass or whatnot. So he does have some ideas. So I'm going to work with him and see if he wants to organize a cleanup. So I've just been emailing back and forth with him in the last day or two. So I'll get back to you on that, Larry.
All right. How does that sound, Gail?
Good for me. That's fine.
All right.
Maybe
Okay.
if the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts are looking for an ongoing project, they might want to, look around their school fields.
Yes, yes. Are you in touch with them at all, John, by any chance? Do they ever contact you?
No, generally, occasionally Eagle Scouts do for projects, but Eagle Scouts projects are a little more involved than just cleanups. They
Okay.
require more planning and design.
I'm meeting
So
with some Girl Scouts tomorrow, so I'll mention it to them.
that would be great. That would be great. Obviously, the high school is probably one area that probably fits the description, Gail.
Yeah, definitely the high school. I think also, well, it's not quite as bad, the field behind the health department, but the high school's a good one. I haven't been over by in the area where they just did that parking lot recently. What's that school off of Wynn Street? That one. But the high school is one that's kind of a chronic problem. especially along that old practice field, along the perimeter there.
Okay. All right, Eileen, maybe you can make mention of it.
We've also got quite a on Muller Road too, in Blanchard, around Mary Cummings Park. Quite one of the areas that we found was really scary was between Marvin Ball Field and Microsoft, that dividing land. Number of hypodermic needles were found there, and yet you hate to put a Boy Scout troop in there and start cleaning it out, and they don't really know how to deal with that kind of thing. But
Have you-
we found quite a
Have you
bad
called the
sign.
health department?
We actually brought the police in, so I don't know if they did.
Okay. All right, Eileen, if you get any positive feedback of interest from them, let us know. Okay. All right, upcoming meetings. The next meeting is April 22nd and May 13th. Let us know, obviously, if you can't make it. Other business?
Just planning ahead, this is Bill, just planning ahead on the June 10 meeting, I would not be available. Just to let you know,
Okay.
Larry, so that we don't plan to be
Sure.
out the same day.
Sure. And Bill, good luck in your feverish race for town meeting member.
Thank you very much.
Okay, if there's nothing further, a motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
We'll move, dude.
Second.
Second, Indra.
All right, Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
the chair votes yes. By a vote of 500, this meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission is adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.
All right.